and welcome to the new video. If this is your first time here, my name is Hannah and I would like to invite you to join me in this episode of The Hannah Show. We are pretty much halfway through October and I have just started another 2 books. I am reading physically All the Devils by Caitlin Wilson, and this is about a girl. Her full name is Andromeda, how amazing, but she likes to be called Andy, and she has an older sister that attends this boarding school, and something happened which we don't know what yet, and unfortunately, her sister, Violet, dies. So during the funeral, Andy discovers that it's possibly not her sister, because both her and her sister had the same tattoo in the same place. So she checked the leg for the tattoo and it wasn't then. So she suspects that her sister is still alive. Also, the Violet left a note for Andy. So Andy now is doing her best to be able to join the same boarding school. It seems like a very elite school, and she manages to convince her parents to send her to that school, and she joins the school, and this is literally just the first night, and she goes in and investigates Violet's room and she finds some things in her room. This is where I'm at. I only read about 35 pages. Yeah, 5 chapters, so it's literally 35 pages, 36 pages, but it reads really well. It kind of giving me vibes of vampires for some reason. I don't know, maybe not. I read the synopsis when I received this book. It was a pre-order, but I actually can't remember. I'm not very good retaining the information that is not life or death for me. And also this would be one of the books I'll be reading for my horror bingo, as this is a book published in 2024. It will fulfill my horror bingo prompt for easy and hard mode. I'm actually reading 2 books that will fulfill this prompt. One is going to go towards the easy mode and the other one is going to go towards the hard mode. So it doesn't matter. Easy mode is read a book that's published in 2024, and the hard mode is read it by the end of 2024, which I'm going to do. So that's 2 boxes I will be able to black out. So that's that. And the second book I am reading from my October TBR, also for the horror bingo prompt, is The Intruders by Louise Jensen. And this is a book that will also could possibly fulfill another prompt, because we have multiple POVs and also dual timelines. So that would be good for that bingo box as well. But for me, it will serve to fulfill the published in 2024. And I haven't read that much. It's 64 pages. I'm listening to this via audio, and it starts 30 years prior to the current times, to the present time, and there's a family that gets murdered in the house by a couple of intruders, and 30 years later James and Cass move into this house as caretakers, and they're supposed to just live, I think, rent-free and just look after the house, do the inventory. They're supposed to look after this house, make sure no one squats in there, there's no one going in with, like, you know, adventure seeking people looking for ghosts and stuff, because in this area this house is known to be the Medley family, Medley murder house. So yeah, they move in, and this is literally like a Thursday. There are some issues between Cass and her father. I'm not sure what yet, but it feels like the relationship is a little bit strained. And yeah, that's all I know. So this is my audiobook. This is my physical book. I'm enjoying both so far. I want to go through my physical TBR. I have plenty of books and I'm trying not to buy any, unless I see a good offer on a book, then I will be tempted to buy it. But I'm trying not to buy any more books. I'm trying to go through my TBR, and so far so good. I'm doing well, and I think doing the horror bingo as well, that will help. Today's Friday. It's my day 1 of 3 of my rest days. The morning has been quite busy, and then I went to the gym. I just did a quick deadlift session. It was like 45 minutes, and it was so much fun. Like, it's been a while since I went to, I think my last time in the gym was about 10 days ago, which it is a long time, but I was just feeling so tired. So it felt really good to be in the gym today and to do deadlifts, and yeah, so that was fun. And then I went shopping, and it's just Tesco, so it's nothing special. But I picked up a couple of candles because I have recently finished the candles that I had, and I picked up, I think these are Tesco brand, I don't know. One is called Banana Bakes, and the other one is Library Room. And I was like, oh my gosh, how fitting. And the Banana Bakes actually smells like banana bread. Oh my gosh, you could not believe this smells so freaking good. I'm loving it. And the Library Room, I don't know what it smells like. It smells a little bit, it smells manly. It smells like boys, but like a nice boy smell, not a stinky boy smell. Yeah, this is what it smells like. I don't know. I think the picture is giving like a manly library setting. You know, when you can imagine like dark and like dark shelves and all these like leather-bound books and, you know, leather sofas and stuff like that. You know, very, I don't know, men sitting around smoking cigars, reading books, smelling of boys. Yeah, this is the vibe this candle is giving me. Yay! I am going to eat something and unpack my shopping. Stuff needs to go in the fridge, and then I think I am going to go and finish editing, because I'm editing a vlog, and then later on I am going to just relax, make myself a cup of tea. I have a nice muffin, so I'm gonna have a cup of tea. I'm gonna have a muffin, and I'm gonna light up my candle, and I'm going to read. Hello, how we doing? Oh my gosh, our boiler broke, and also if you can see the stain here, disregard. I had a little accident while eating my sandwich. Anyway, we didn't have hot water for 2 days. The boiler broke down and we had to call the landlord, and yeah, so 2 days no hot water, and it was a bit of a warming up water in the pots on the stove or in the kettle. It was a headache, but we survived. At least the boiler didn't break down in the middle of the winter when we used the heating and whatnot. So I literally just put the heating on because it's cold, but also what I want to do is I want to put the heating on for a bit and then go over and check all the radiators and see if they need to be bled. And they need to be bled. So that's the plan for today. But yesterday I was literally spent a whole day on a sofa, and because it was so cold I was just snuggled up. I put a Game of Thrones on, and I pretty much pretty much I finished season 1. I've seen it before, but I was just rewatching it. So I finished season 1, so I've watched like 2 episodes of season 1, and I pretty much watched an entire episode, an entire season 2. So you're looking at that's like 10 episodes per season. So let's say for 10 hours. I've watched 10 hours of Game of Thrones yesterday, but while I was watching, I was actually crocheting, and I told you I was working on this jumper for my son, and it's pretty much finished. I need to do sleeves, but he wasn't in, so I couldn't actually take measurements for the sleeves. So far I literally have this, and I'm waiting for him to get home so I can take the measurements for the sleeves, and then this way I will also know how far I need to stitch here. But there's a red, oh my god, it's gorgeous. It's not my kind of a color, but it's absolutely gorgeous. And this yarn is so soft, and it's so warm as well, because I've made blankets with this yarn before. It's really warm. So that's that, and I kind of got stuck on this because even though I wanted to continue, I couldn't because he wasn't there. But yeah, all this I did yesterday. So whew, that was a very productive session. And then because I didn't have anything else I didn't have him to continue crocheting the sleeves, I started on my own jumper, and I'm using this yarn here, and it is going to be like a granny stitch jumper. So far I have this much, and basically it's like a raglan sleeve. So you start with this, and then you crochet around and around and around, and then yeah, you create the sides and the sleeves and whatnot. So this is going to be very pretty, and I love these colors, absolutely love these colors. So this is what I've done yesterday, and it was I kind of felt tired, and I went to bed. Today it's another sofa day for me because I'm back to work tomorrow, and I've been reading because I haven't been reading yesterday. Today I sat down and I was reading pretty much from the moment I woke up, and I have read, I'm past 50% mark reading All the Devils, and I have thoughts on this book. It's kind of reminding me about Legendborn. You kind of get the same vibes or similar vibes with like secret societies, and it's happening in a boarding school, and kids getting tangled up in the occult, in like secret societies and demons and stuff like that. But also for the first 30% of the book, the main couple of characters, Jay and Andy, they were so frustrating that you literally wanted to go and like slap them and be like, oh, just tell each other what you know, because you're obviously working together, so you want to keep yourself informed. So that was that. And also the other thing I've noticed, even though this is happening at school, there's not much school action going on. So there was a little bit in the beginning, and yeah, there's pretty much nothing. There's not much, like they don't go to classes. It seems like a forever weekend when they just do whatever they want, and there's no classes. There is mention of classes, but with a book like this, a dark academia book, you would kind of expect a little bit more of school happening. And also the other thing that is kind of, it's taking me aback a little bit, is the fact that we kind of jumped in straight into the plot of the book. There wasn't much of an introduction. It wasn't like a, let me tell you da or whatever. It was like straight in, and you know, it was like all units go pretty much. So I don't know if I like that. I didn't feel like I was eased into the story. It was just like someone literally just pushed me off the diving board and, you know, jump into the deep end of the pool. That's how it feels for me, and I don't know if I like that. For me right now, this book is kind of like a 3-star book. It's enjoyable to read, but it's not life-changing, if you know what I mean. Also, the other thing that I've noticed, there are big jumps in times, in timeline. So let's say they manage to run away and get to the school like 5 o'clock in the morning. The time is actually mentioned, 5 o'clock in the morning, and they spend some time in the basement, and then suddenly it's night and there was nothing in between. So they get in 5 o'clock, they chat, and then it's night. And then it's like the chat that they had took an entire day. So it's kind of like, when I read this, when I flipped over to the next chapter and we were in like nighttime, I kind of had to go back and read again because I was thinking maybe I've missed something. So, but no, so it's kind of like, it's like this. And also there's different things that we find out that were kind of like out of the blue. There's one thing about Violet that was never mentioned before, and then suddenly it felt like if the author thought, oh, that would be a good idea to put it in there, it will kind of make more sense with the plot. So, you know, that was a little bit weird. I found I would expect something like this to be introduced in the beginning of the book, or at least mentioned in the beginning of the book, so we kind of know what to expect. It's okay to read. I'm not hating it. I'm having a good time with it. We'll see how it ends. I have got about 160 pages left to read, and I kind of feel like I want to do it today. I will see if I can finish it over the next couple of days. Obviously, I have work tomorrow, so it's not going to be a very long and lazy day. I'm gonna go back to my sofa and I'm going to wait for that heating to finally come on and warm up the radiators so I can go over and check them, and then I'm just gonna chill for the rest of the day, because why not? I feel this is a once in a very long time I have allowed myself not to do anything. Like, you know, I don't put pressure on myself that I need to do or I have to do certain things, and I'm having a good time. Yeah. The light isn't the best, I know. 20 to 9, and I finished reading for tonight. I have about 60, 80 pages left of this book, and I kind of just wanted to say that this book is a perfect book if you are doing a horror bingo, because sorry for the light. My camera is finding it difficult to focus in low light. Because this will fulfill prompt number 1, published in 2024. And if you read it by the end of this year, it will also fulfill that prompt for the hard mode. Then this is Halloween, because this is actually a part of this story happens during Halloween. So I know it's going to be okay for the easy mode. Not sure about the hard mode yet, because we are literally I finished it. We are a day before Halloween. Not sure if there's going to be any trick-or-treating. I don't think so. This is not that kind of a book, but it will be okay for the easy mode. And then next one, Reaper Read. Okay, so it will fulfill easy and hard mode, because easy, we are talking about grief. Grief and death. We actually start with a funeral and death of Andy's sister Violet. But it will also fulfill the hard mode, because there is death personified in this book, and there is a scene when Andy is actually talking to death. So, wow. Then Satanic Panic. This will also fulfill both easy and hard mode. Easy because there's a lot about occult in here, and hard mode, some sort of a talisman or Ouija board or tarot card has to be used. And actually in this book there are scenes when like for example just now Andy is using a pendulum to locate something on the map. There's also a multiple use of rituals and incantations and blood magic and stuff like that. So I think definitely suitable for the hard mode as well. I think that's all, but like so far, so 100 pages left. Also, this book is so rich in mythology. I don't know a lot of like Greek mythology, only know some parts of it, but there's a mixture of Greek and maybe Egyptian mythology as well. There's a lot about that. But interesting enough read. What got me excited is how this book is a perfect book to fulfill some of these prompts. 80 pages left, so I'll finish that tomorrow. I actually feel a bit tired now, so I think I'm going to turn my lights off and have a little snooze, and then I'll see you tomorrow when I finish reading this book. How it doing? Oh my gosh, I have come back from work and I've showered already. I have leftover dinner from yesterday, so it is going to be rot on the sofa afternoon because I have big plans for today. One of my plans is to finish all the Devils. I've got 80 pages left of this book, so I'm going to finish it today. I'm actually liking it a little bit more than in the beginning. And also when I finish reading that book, because that's the first thing, I am going to put my audiobook for this, The Intruders, and I am going to crochet. This, I know it doesn't look like much, but it's going to be the second sleeve for my son's jumper. I finished the first one yesterday, plus I have the body, one sleeve. I need to finish that one sleeve off and then stitch everything together, and it's going to be done. So all the Devils first, 80 pages, I'm going to push through, and then I'm going to put the audiobook on and listen to this. Now this, I picked this book up because on Goodreads it was recommended as horror. And I don't think it is. It's a paranormal thriller. And I don't mind this book, but I don't know. Apparently it's good, and people are saying that there's so many twists and layers to this book. We don't know what hit you, basically. For now, I'm not getting it. I am about 30% in, 152 pages in this baby, and so far nothing much happened. I did mention to you before the couple moves into this house where a family got murdered 30 years prior, and this spooky thing is going on in the house, paintbrushes being moved and strange things, and the clock stopping at 8:30 every night and stuff like that. What is it with British authors and people moving in a house, and one of them is an artist? I have recently read Peter James's The House on Cold Hill, and the woman there, she was an artist. This is the second book I'm reading within few months, or 2-3 months, that a person is an artist. And I think, is it fashionable to one of the characters to be an artist? So this really reminds me, actually, see, this is the thing, this actually reminds me a lot about Peter James's The House on Cold Hill. This one, I literally read it like a couple of months ago, and I wonder that the author took inspiration from this book, because their stories are so similar. So similar. So the family dies here, a whole family dies in one day. Same thing, the book starts with a whole family being wiped out from the surface of the earth. The house is haunted, the house is haunted. The woman is an artist, the woman is an artist, and it's just so many similarities. And also this is like a historic house, or with like a historic background at the edge of the village. Same thing, it's a house with a historic background, edge of the village, and very isolated, both houses. So many similarities, it's incredible. And I'm like, yeah, did we try to copy Peter James, or is it just an inspiration? So we'll see what's gonna happen later. Even when I think of the layout of the houses, it's very, very similar. The thing with the window here, there was a situation with the window, and there's a situation with the window here as well. So a little bit of a, I dare say, a copycat job. Certain things are different, obviously, because you can't do a like for like, but the similarities are incredible. And yeah, I don't know what I think about this. One of the things that got delivered is Stay in the Light by A.M. Shine. This is the sequel to The Watchers. And I know many of you probably seen the movie, and the movie, in my opinion, was poop. The book was so much better. I really enjoyed the book, and this is the sequel. I have read this book before. I have read an arc from NetGalley, and I really enjoyed it. There's a vlog. I think I talked about this in my Portugal vlog. So go back if you want to hear my thoughts. You can go back to this vlog. There's a timestamp for my final thoughts on this book. I think I rated it 4 stars. I enjoyed it, and now I have my own paper copy. I am actually so tired, but I want to say this. I actually had to sit down and think what I want to say about this book and how I'm going to rate it. And this is the book I'm talking about, Caitlin Wilson, All the Devils. And the way it started, it got me really interested, because the stuff that we were seeing, like the boarding school setting, and Violet leaving clues for her younger sister, telling her that she's not dead, basically, and then, you know, Violet exploring all the clues, and, you know, the mysterious J and all the occult stuff that was happening. I think I found it really, really interesting. Also, this being set in a boarding school, like I could really picture the school and the grounds and whatnot, the dark hallways, the creaky floors, and I think I missed that in the book, because it was mentioned, but there wasn't much happening around the school. It was mostly in the woods. Also, there was I feel like this book in some places felt really rushed. There was this one scene specifically, and I don't know if I mentioned this. I might say something. If you don't want to listen, please skip to my final thoughts or just whatever. Anyway, so there was this one scene specifically when Jay and Andy were investigating. They're doing some investigations, looking at different like archives and stuff like that. And they sneaked out from the school, and then they had to come back before daylight or whatever. And they got back to school at 5 o'clock in the morning. I remember that specifically. 5 o'clock in the morning, they were back, and they were sitting in a basement, and they were deciding what to do, arguing as well. They were arguing, also deciding what to do next, how they're going to work together and whatnot. And suddenly it was nighttime. So to me, it's like, when's all the day gone? Like it just didn't make sense to me. I had to go back and read the ending of the previous chapter just to be sure I haven't missed anything. But I haven't. There was literally a big time jump from the morning 5 a.m. to like late in the evening or nighttime. This also brings me to the fact that them two as characters were really frustrating, and they were very annoying. And I know this is kind of like a young adult book, and these characters, the school kids basically, but still they just felt so immature. And I think, you know, I have never been to a boarding school, but I feel kids that go to boarding schools, they're a bit more mature than normal kids that go to like normal schools, because they're obviously away from their parents and whatnot. They kind of have to rely on themselves a little bit more. There's no mom and dad to help them, and you know, stuff like that. So I would just think they would be a little bit more mature. The whole situation that was between them, you know, they're working together, but no one is saying anything. It was, to me, it was so frustrating. I just feel generally these two as characters were very underdeveloped. I think this is my opinion. Like, it felt like, I don't know, Andy, for example, she's just this normal girl. She looks for her sister, whatnot, and then suddenly she finds out she's a descendant of Hecate, and then suddenly she can do magic. Out of the blue, she's in a greenhouse doing spells and whatnot. So it was, I know it's a fantasy book, but make it believable, okay? I think, yeah, I don't know. It just felt so unbelievable. There was another thing that I feel was dropped at us, like a... there's a saying in Poland, we have grom z jasnego nieba. So basically, it's like a thunder from a clear sky. And it was Violet's leukemia. I feel that it was added to this book as an afterthought in maybe about halfway through the book. There was never any mention of Violet, the older sister that died, being sick. Never in the beginning of the book. There's no mention of that. And then suddenly Violet had a leukemia. Okay, so that gives us a reason for her to go kind of haywire and start doing magic and stuff like that. So I feel like it was added a bit as a... It was added as an afterthought, as, you know, maybe the author just thought of a good reason why would Violet do such things. And I think if it was introduced a little bit earlier in the book, it would be a little bit more believable. And I think I would personally be able to, I don't know, maybe just have a little bit more empathy for the girl. Also, there's a lot of different mythologies in this book. I know there's Greek, there's Egyptian, there's probably some other ones that I cannot name. There was such a mix of different gods and goddesses and different, I don't know, demons and whatnot. It will literally make your head spin. I feel like mythology is currently very fashionable, you know, retellings and stuff like that. And I feel like this author specifically kind of tried to benefit from that and introduce this mythology aspect to this book to make it a bit more popular, because these books are popular currently. And I think it was just a little bit too much. Like, it would be okay if you just talk about, I don't know, maybe just pick one god and one goddess or whatnot. But I don't know. I just found this a little bit overwhelming, to be honest. And me not being a fan of mythology, and I don't really read anything like that. I don't know. To me, it just didn't make a lot of sense, basically, I'm saying. And when it comes to like the pacing of this book, the fact that it was so rushed, I think if only they added maybe about 100 pages extra and slowed down a little bit, especially in the beginning, to build the characters properly, for us to actually like the characters. To be fair, I could not care less about Andy or Violet, especially, or Jay. It just made my head spin how we went from one thing to another. Jay suddenly being this god or whatever he was. Like, you have your suspicions when you read the book, even in the beginning, but then suddenly it's just like, I don't know, it was just weird. And I think this book was 365 pages, so it's like an average book, but I think add another 100 pages to it and just slow down the action a little bit, and then I don't know, maybe build those characters a little bit more, add a little bit of school to this book as well, because at the end of the day, dark academia, I fancy reading about like this dark boarding school and like secret societies and stuff like that. I would love to read that. So, I would read the 100 pages extra. It's no bother. But I think the book would really benefit from that. Towards the end, I started I think it was from the moment when I found out, when it was revealed who Jay really was, it started going downhill for me massively, because it felt really dragged out. I was really thinking like, come on, can we have the ending now or what? There was a lot of things, like especially when these kids started running around with guns. Okay, for me it was like, why? We don't need this. I don't know. I just personally, I didn't like it. So it was weird for me because, like I said, I would gladly add another 100 pages and slow down the beginning of the book. But then the ending, the last few chapters were really dragged out. And I feel like, let's put some action in there. I don't know. It's just my opinion. So I think, even though this book, in my opinion, had a potential to be a 4-star read, because at one point I was even thinking like this would be great for, this would be a good book, that I really enjoyed. Then I went to thinking like, actually, I don't know. And then I actually rated it 2 stars in the end, because when I sat down and I wrote my review and I started thinking about everything that I liked and I didn't like in this book, it ended up being a book that is just okay for me. I didn't mind it, but would I recommend this to someone? It's hard to say. But I think if there was a sequel to it, I don't know if this is a standalone or is a series. If there was a sequel to it, I probably wouldn't pick it up. So to me, this is a 2-star rating. I didn't mind it. I'm probably going to I read this book and then I'm probably going to unhaul it at some point, because it's nothing, the cover is nice, but do I want to keep the book that I didn't really enjoy? Probably not. So a 2-star rating. I think it reflects the book, for me at least. And now it's 6 o'clock. I feel so tired. I was going to do the jumper and listen to the other book that I have, but now I don't know. I'm thinking I might give this one a read, Lady Macbeth. Now this is the next book that I picked up in my October TBR. My Harry Potter picked it up for me. Lovely edges. And this is, I think it's a retelling of Lady Macbeth or her story or something like that. So yeah, I might give this a go. It's just under 300 pages, so hopefully it won't be too long. I mean, it's not too long. I might start this tonight and see how it goes. My plan didn't work out yesterday with finishing the jumper and finishing the audiobook for this. So I'm going to do this today. I think I'm going to make myself something to drink, coffee, a decaf or a tea or something. And I'm going to finish this. So I've got only a little bit left. Have you ever tried this tea? This tea literally tastes, this is a Yorkshire tea, toast and jam. And it flipping tastes like toast and jam, especially if you put sugar in your tea. I don't put sugar in my coffee. I don't put sweetener in my coffee, but tea I like to have with sugar and just a little bit of milk. So I like I like strong tea with a good dash of milk. So I like it milky but strong, and I put sugar in, and this flipping tastes like toast and strawberry jam. It's so good. If you're in the UK, if you haven't tried it, you need to try it. There's another one that I like as well, but it's not opened yet, and it's same thing, Yorkshire tea biscuit brew, and it tastes like biscuits, like those nice biscuits. Tastes like nice biscuits. Lovely, lovely. I think if you're a fan of Yorkshire tea, you would have tried it already, but I am going to make my tea and then sit on the sofa and finish that jumper. What mug do I want? Yeah, my standard. Finish that jumper and finish that audiobook and finish that jumper. That's the plan. Leftover dinner, so no need to cook. Ah, boy, I love these days. We have to take a little break from the program because my calendars just arrived, so I need to open them and see what the print is like. I'm always excited and nervous when I order stuff from printers because you kind of never know until the very last minute what they're gonna be like. Anyway, let me put this camera down. I am nervous and I'm excited. Ah, dun dun dun. There we go. So let's do a little flip. I have, so that's the cover, 2025, and we have Woodside Park for January, and we have Colindale Station for February, and Colindale is being refurbished and rebuilt, so from 2025 it will look different, so I have to redo that station. And then we have March, we have Finchley Central, and then we have London Bridge for April, and then May we have Warren Street, and then June is Finchley. August is Tooting Broadway, and we have Stockwell for July. Oh, this is going back. Then September we have Tottenham Court Road, and then October we have Clapham Common, and then November it's Hampstead, and then December we have Balham. So all is looking good, I think. Yeah, I'm happy. I am happy. So this is going to be available. Let me see. So this is going to be available in my Etsy shop. All the links are in the description box below. I'm not sure when I am going to put this in my shop and how many copies there would be. I might be doing pre-orders because last year this was quite popular, like, you know. So I might be doing pre-orders. I might have some copies from this batch available, but also I might do pre-orders. But yeah, check out my Etsy shop if you're interested. I feel like it's such a cool thing, you know. If you like underground stations, there's a lot of railway enthusiasts around, so yeah, that's going to be 2025. We are back. I have finished. I have finished reading this and my thoughts. Just to quickly recap this book, there's a couple, Cass and James, and they met each other 6 months prior. They've been together for 6 months, and there's a fantastic opportunity. They want to live together, they want to buy a house, and they want to save money for the deposit, but everything is so expensive. So opportunity comes their way, and they move into this historical house where they're supposed to be the caretakers, and they're supposed to look after the house and do the inventory and whatnot, and they can live there pretty much rent-free. So they see that there's an opportunity, they move into the house, and as soon as they move into the house, weird things start to happen, creepy things, like, you know, the clock stops always at the same time, and then, you know, there's drafts of cold air and whatnot. So you kind of feel that ghostly sensations. And I wish this book kind of went more into that area, but it didn't. I thought it was going to be a paranormal horror. There was a little bit of ghostly situations, but it is definitely not that type of a book. This is a thriller / suspense. And I think as a beginner reader, if you're new to the genre, you will definitely enjoy this book. If you're kind of like a seasoned thriller reader, you will kind of guess the plot pretty much early on. There was, in some places, the story was so slow and so dragged out, like especially like the first half. It was very, very slow. I don't feel like we were getting much from this, and then it kind of picked up in the second part. And what else? The ending, I hated the ending. The ending was, it was a stupid thing to do from the main character's side, what she did, but also from the author, because people like me will be sitting there and thinking, yeah, and how is it going to work out in the future? So, you know, I have questions. Tell me how it's supposed to work out. You're never getting away with this. So that's that. I had to put the lights on because it literally just got so dark. So I did enjoy this book. I didn't hate it. Cass, the main character, she was a little bit whiny in places. But yeah, it was okay. It wasn't a bad book. I didn't hate it. And I have rated it 3 stars. And then also I have changed the rating for the book that I finished yesterday, All the Devils by Caitlin Wilson. I rated it 2 stars yesterday, but now comparing it to this one and my enjoyment of the 2 books, I decided to change the rating from 2 to 3 stars. So we get 3 stars for All the Devils by Caitlin Wilson. Also, I think I was tired yesterday, and maybe when I was reading, I was maybe a little bit too tired, and it was making me fall asleep. So I think for the future, when I rate my books, I need to kind of wait till maybe the next day and then decide, and definitely not rate books when I'm tired. I have to pick another audiobook, and I'm thinking I might read, this is not going to be one of my TBR books because I don't think I have any available. My next audiobook will be Those People Next Door by Kia Abdullah, and I have that on my Libby app, so I might listen to this one. Okay, I'm going to go and finish that bloody sleeve because I'm still not finished. Hello, lovely people of the internet. It's the day after, the day before, but I have finished the jumper. It's so cool. And this color is so pretty. Also, please ignore this. I basically left some bits for later. The jumper is finished and it's so pretty. I love it and he loves it. And also, today was last day of work, and from tomorrow I'm off for 5 days, which I can't freaking wait. I have finished this book. And I still don't know how to pronounce this. I am going to try something.
Scourge.
Scourge. The Scourge Between Stars by Ness Brown. It's just a really short novella. Scourge Between Stars it is. 160 pages. It was about 4 hours to listen. And it was fun. I had a good time with it. It was quite alien-esque. So we followed this crew on the ship, and they are coming back from this planet, which the name I completely forgot. And they kind of have been coming from this planet back to Earth. And they've already been like 2 centuries on this ship. So yeah, it's kind of like so many thousand people on this ship, and there was a fleet of them and whatnot. And one day they hear some banging in the walls and stuff like that, and turns out there are things on the ship, and It was short, but it was fun. I think if it was longer, it would be such a cool book to read. I gave it 4 stars because, you know, if it was longer and a bit more substance to it, then it would be a 5-star book. But I don't know. I just can't. But I really enjoyed it. I had a good time with it and I highly recommend it. And now I finished The Jumper, I finished this one. I am still reading Lady Macbeth and I'm enjoying it. I like the writing style. It's quite lyrical, but I'm enjoying the story so far. I think I've read about 70 pages. Read about 70 pages or so. So yeah, hopefully I'll finish it over the next few days, and then when I finish that, I will close this vlog and I will also decide which books I want to use for which prompt. And now I started listening to Those People Next Door by Kia Abdullah, and it's about this family that moves into this, I think, a very predominantly white neighborhood somewhere in London, East London. It is on the Central Line. So I don't know what kind of book this is going to be. I think it's like a thriller, mystery, or whatever this is. I have never read from this author before, so it's the first time. But yeah, it's going to be one of those, you know, all the neighbors have secrets or everybody's hiding something and stuff like that. So we'll see. I can't say whether I like it or not. I only read a couple of chapters, so we shall see. For now, I'm going to go and cook dinner, and then I will be making that jumper for myself, the one that I started. So that's the plan for tonight. Good morning on Friday. I have finished reading Hidden Pictures yesterday and I'm like, what? I actually can't believe that I went from kind of snickering a little bit about this book being another TikTok sensation, and then, you know, thinking, oh, it's going to be so predictable, it's going to be another imaginary friend story and another ghost story, to actually flipping crying at the end of the book and rating it 5 stars. It was plotted really well. The twist that happened in the book, I actually didn't expect this. I knew these people will be somehow involved, but I didn't know it was going to be involved in this way. Now, a few places when there was that one scene that I was like, oh my god, you're being so dramatic. But, you know, overall, I think I really like the book and I like the characters, especially the little boy and Mallory as well. Mallory moves in as an ex-addict and she moves in as a live-in nanny, and she's supposed to look after this little boy, Teddy, and he starts drawing different things and scary pictures, and she sees a woman being murdered on his photos and she thinks he is being possessed by the ghost of this woman. So the story goes from there, and then the twist that happens is very unexpected. I don't think a lot of people predicted this is going to happen in a book, and the way the book finished, it literally had me in tears. And I feel whenever a book makes me feel this way or makes me feel so much, it deserves a high rating, and I did rate it 5 stars. And I think the plot was written so well, the characters very likable, the writing style was very easy to read, and it was definitely one of those books that is hard to put down. I read this book on my Kindle, and I think I mentioned that before. I only read my Kindle at work on my meal break, and I actually found myself bringing my Kindle back home and reading it at home. That's how much I enjoyed it. And now we do have 5 days off, which is so nice. I can't wait for whatever we will do. But one of my plans is to actually finish Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid. I'm hoping I will be able to finish this book over the next few days. Obviously, we'll probably be doing other things as well, me and Jason. So I don't know how much actual time I will have to read, but that's the aim. And the aim is to read this book and close this vlog, because it is definitely going to be one of the longer ones. So yeah, life. Anyway, time to have breakfast and then start doing some chores and just get on with it. Hello my lovely people, and welcome to, I think is the last clip of this vlog. I have finally finished Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid, and let me start by saying that I have never read Macbeth. I was just slightly aware of the story of Macbeth, and I had very little knowledge about what transpired in that play. Also, the other thing is, I am not a reader of classics or retellings of classics. The reason I picked up this book, it was because it was recommended to me based on the books that I have enjoyed in the past. So I decided to bite the bullet, and I got this beautiful edition of this book from Waterstones. I think it's a signed one as well. Yes, signed one. And have I read anything from this author before? No, I haven't. So I kind of didn't know what I was signing up for. And when I started reading this, I really wasn't sure. And I'd say the first maybe 60-70 pages, I was like, oh, I don't know if this is for me. But the only thing that kind of kept me going was the writing style. This book is written in such way that it seems like it just flows, and it's so smooth, and it wants you keep on reading. And this is what happened to me. And the language used is it is simple, it is clear, but it also is quite lyrical and romantic. I actually quite enjoyed it. Like I said, it was very smooth, it was very lyrical in places, but it read easy. It didn't read like it was overcomplicated and over descriptive or anything like that. It was just nice to read. And like the atmosphere that was built in this book, it actually made you feel like you were there with them. It was very atmospheric, it was gothic, it felt cold, it felt heavy, it felt wet. So I could actually feel everything that was being described in this book, and it was so easy for me to imagine the places and the situations that the characters were in. So I really loved that. And when the book makes me feel so immersed, to me it just, I don't know, chef's kiss. I love that kind of stuff, and I really enjoyed it. And Lady Macbeth also, I don't know, people have different opinions about, you know, what this book is about and whatnot. To me, it was about the girl that is trying to survive in her man's world. She's only 17, and she's being married off to Scotland to this, what seems like a brute, big, massive, violent man, and she's scared, like, you know, everyone would be if you're 17 and you're being forced to marry someone that, you know, you don't know, and all you hear is the stories about him. So yeah, so to me it was just a story of a girl and trying to survive in this cold rush environment, surrounded by men that want nothing else but her demise, let's say. And I just found it really compelling to read, like how she changed and how she evolved and how she plotted and how she, you know, stood up for herself as well and for people that she cared about. So I really enjoyed it. I gave this book 4 stars, and it was a kind of a book that you can easily sit down and read in one afternoon or one day. It took me a couple of days because, you know, I do other stuff as well. This is not my job, reading books. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I will be recommending it to people. Don't go thinking into it that is a retelling of a classic or it has something to do with the classic. I actually have no idea how much the original Macbeth was involved in this book as well. because like I said, I haven't read it, so I don't really know, but I enjoy whatever was presented to me, and now I'm very keen to read more of Ava Reid's books, because if all her books are like this kind of a writing style, this kind of a language, I'm sure I will enjoy it. And that brings me to the part of the video that I will tell you how I decided to place my books on the bingo board. So let's start with the first one of this vlog, which was All the Devils by Caitlin Wilson. I decided to use this book for the hard mode prompt This is Halloween, and for the reason that even though there is no words used trick or treat, even though it is not mentioned by name, there is a mention in the book. I even have a screenshot of that. Let me tell you. Jack-o'-lanterns line the sidewalks. Storefronts are decorated with cowboys and plastic ghosts. Soon the street lights will kick on, and younger children dressed as superheroes, doctors and monsters will run around the town, knocking on doors and shrieking with delight. Which to me, this is obviously trick-or-treating. So I decided to use that book to fulfill the hard mode prompt, This is Halloween. The second book that I have read in this vlog was The Intruders by Louise Jensen, and I will also use this to fulfill a hard mode. I will use this for published in 2024, and for the hard mode it has to be read in 2024, which this is what I'm going to use it for. Then we have Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. I read this book as a part of a book club read, and there is no easy hard mode for the book club read, so this will fulfill this prompt on both of my boards for the easy and a hard mode book club read. Then we have another book. We have Ness Brown, The Scourge Between Stars, and I will be using this for the prompt genre bending, and I will use it for the hard mode. Hard mode is the genre that you don't usually read, so I don't really read a lot of sci-fi, and this is definitely a sci-fi horror, so I will use that to fulfill the hard mode genre bending. And the last but not least, we have Ava Reid, Lady Macbeth, and this will fulfill the prompt on the easy mode for honoring the classics. Overall, I think I've done well. 5 books to fill the boxes on the bingo boards, and I'm getting there slowly but surely. We have 11.5 months left, so let's see how we go. In the meantime, I wanted to thank you for watching this vlog. Don't forget to like this video if you like the vlog, and comment if you want to. And if you want to say something and you don't know what, why don't you leave me a crown emoji, because Lady Macbeth, the queen hereafter. And yeah, once again, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell for the notifications, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.